Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of Why Atheists Care About Your Religion. Let's listen.
And the list goes on and on and on. As an atheist, I care about religion because it has a heavy push to stifle funding for progression in science and technology.
Those who believe in God do not push to stifle funding for science and technology, for science was founded by those who believe in God. Isaac Newton, Francis Bacon, Kepler, Pascal, Galileo, the founders of virtually every area of modern science believed in God. Now, some people may push to stifle funding, but not because it's for science and technology, but because it's used for immoral acts.
For example, religious institutions are the ones that are pushing to prohibit stem cell research, which is one of the most promising medical fields known to us today. Catholics
Religious institutions are not pushing to prohibit stem cell research. Stem cell research is not what is controversial. It is the development of humans to be used for experimentation which is controversial. So it's not the research that's controversial, but the way it's researched. After all, if we want to quote-unquote progress in science by cutting up your body and for our experiments, I don't think you'd think that was morally acceptable. So should we claim you just want to stop the progress of science and technology? See my video on biomedical ethics for more details.
today, Catholics have also been pushing to prohibit condom usage in a world where AIDS is on the rise, contributing to the spread of disease.
Rather than using a condom while engaging in intercourse with a disease-infected person, why not refuse to engage in intercourse with the infected person? See, two partners should both get tested before they get married. Also, is it religion in general that you disagree with here, or a specific belief from a specific group of people? And if so, why are you making a hasty generalization?
It also pushes to put creationism in schools alongside evolution. Creationism is not a scientifically accredited study. It also
Scientifically accredited study? Science doesn't accredit anything. Now, people can give credit to a theory as to whether or not it is verified scientifically, and there are many things taught in schools which are not verified scientifically, like poetry, law, philosophy, etc. This is not to say that naturalism or theism can be verified by science, because it is the science that is interpreted by philosophy.
pushes for abstinence-only education, which contributes to the spread of disease and teen pregnancy. Further,
Teaching abstinence until marriage cannot contribute to the spread of disease and teen pregnancy unless the teacher is infected with a disease and impregnates the teenagers during the class. However, if you're implying that teens who refuse abstinence until marriage and get impregnated and infected, which could have been prevented by the use of a condom that they didn't know about, then it seems to me that the issue is with a particular education system and not with religion in general. You see, we live in a world with so many different views, it may be difficult to live together where everyone is satisfied. For instance, you believe children should be taught about condoms, but others believe children should not be taught about premarital intercourse. Maybe there can be some kind of school choice, but actually many, if not most, atheist liberals don't want school choice, but rather one common education system where their views are dominant and dominate everybody else.
that religion pushes for in their arena of science and technology is claiming that global warming is a myth or a government conspiracy. This idea is founded on the idea that God is watching over us all, and He wouldn't let the earth go to shit.
It's not global warming that is the issue, and it's not just religious people that have an issue with it. It seems to me that people deny that there is a man-made global warming because they are not convinced by the conclusions drawn from scientific data. And I think they are motivated to investigate the data for themselves because they believe people can use proposed solutions to a problem for their own personal benefit. And in regards to God and the earth, God is the creator and man is the keeper of this grand and wonderful world that we live in which it is our duty to keep and not corrupt, to preserve and not to pollute. See my video on ecology for more information.
But aside the objective, it's also important to remember the subjective. Religion imposes all kinds of psychological turbulence on its members.
Not much to respond to here, but it seems to me you're just giving your subjective opinion. As you say, church members are being imposed on by psychological turbulence, when they could just respond by saying you are being imposed on by psychological turbulence when you're outside the church. It's just two different opinions, and unless you can provide a reason for this claim, then there's not much to respond to.
Religion robs children of free thinking. It cages their mind with indoctrination before they can even get a chance.
If you think parents mentoring their children is somehow causing the children brain damage by rendering the brain ineffective to think freely, then you're assuming that they have the ability to think freely in the first place, which would be inconsistent with the overwhelming majority of atheists who are determinists. You see, if there is no God, no immaterial soul, and everything is physical, then there is no free thinking in the first place, because every event is caused by a previous event, like the falling of dominoes, and that's it. But furthermore, by your reasoning, it can be said that atheists are indoctrinating their children and robbing them of the ability to think freely before they even get a chance, when they teach them that there is no God.
Religion is sexually oppressive by telling members what the right and wrong bedroom practices are. It also pushes for no premarital sex, so when members do indulge, as is a natural human instinct, they often feel guilty, ashamed, and like they've done something dirty, when really...
Sexually oppressive by saying what is and what is not appropriate sexual behavior? By your logic, everyone is sexually oppressive. That is, if they think rape is inappropriate sexual behavior, or pedophilia, or bestiality, etc. And those who do engage in rape, pedophilia, and bestiality claim they are just indulging in a natural human behavior. And who are you to discriminate against them? Why should they feel as though they're ashamed, guilty, or have done something dirty?
Haven't. Religion is also oppressive to many other groups that aren't the typical 32-year-old white male. It often discriminates against people of color, homosexuals, and women.
It seems as though you're making a hasty generalization by lumping all religions into one group. The truth is, God created man and women in his image, Genesis 1:27, and there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free man, there is neither male nor female, for all are one in Christ Jesus, Galatians 3:28. So Christians know the truth, that there is no such thing as a second-class citizen. But the question for the atheist is, what reason do you have to conclude that all men are intrinsically equal?
As an atheist, I care about religion because atheists are actively discriminated against in supposedly public institutions. Take, for instance, the Boy Scouts, a taxpayer-funded institution. It doesn't allow atheists to participate in its program. As an atheist, I care about religion because in Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Maryland, I can't hold a public office.
All rational people discriminate. This is why we put skull and crossbones on poisonous items or lock up criminals. And those who claim that you should never discriminate cannot live up to their own standard, because they themselves are discriminating against discrimination. For example, Lacey here is discriminating against people who don't want her holding public office.
Nobody ever says anything. Everybody just wants to sit back and let problems work themselves out.
Well, Lacey, I think you've said enough for everyone. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more stupid things atheists say.